Hey, look at this. We're back again for another alternate starter best team. We're continuing with the alternate starter best teams for Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald today. And we've got ourselves this team featuring Sceptile. Now, like I said before when I handled the Heartgold and Soul Silver alternate starters, those were definitely a bit tough to put together. And really these games, while easier, are also a bit of a challenge. Now, I've got mostly a different team from last time, but there is a repeating member here or there. Though, regardless, I think I've put together a good team that really complements each other and covers a ton of bases. So let's get into things right here with another hard-hitting alternate starter best team. As always, there's one place to start on this team, and it's exactly where you'd figure with Sceptile. Trico is grabbed as your starter in Littleroot Town, and by level 36, it'll turn into a wonderful Sceptile. Now, of course, Sceptile is the worst of the 3 starters in Hoenn, but even then, it isn't like it's hot trash or anything. It has 120 base speed, making it the fastest of the 3 starters in Generation 3, and it has 105 base special attack, which goes quite well with the fact that grass-type moves are special in this gen. It really seems like Sceptile isn't as flashy as Swampert and Blaziken end up becoming through the generations, but here in the 3rd, it honestly stands with them in quality. It doesn't matter if I just say that though. Now we need to look at its moveset and see how it stacks up during our challenge. The moveset Sceptile's going out there with is Leaf Blade, Giga Drain, Brick Break, and Return. Leaf Blade is hands down the strongest grass-type move that Sceptile really gets that is actually viable, and you can get that at level 29 as a Grovyle. Then there's Giga Drain, which needs to be learned via TM, and that TM can be found on Route 123, and it's a great way to get some health back in battle. Next up is Brick Break, which is around for a little bit of coverage against ice types, and that is learned via a TM gotten in Pseudopolis City, so it's a very late game move. Finally, there is Return, which is a generally damaging move that should hit pretty hard, considering how often you'll be using your starter. It's definitely going to love you a lot. You'll be able to get the TM for that pretty late into things in Pacific Locktown. Now with these moves, Sceptile will be able to do well against Roxanne's entire team, Tate and Liza's entire team except for Xatu, Wallace's entire team, Juan's entire team except for Kendra, the rivals Wailmer, Sydney's entire team, Glacia's entire team, Wallace's championship Wailord, Whiscash and Milotic, and Steven's Claydol, Aggron, and Credilli. Sceptile will be pretty useful during the final bits of the game, handling your final gym in many of the Elite Four battles of these. As I said, it truly is a good starter Pokemon. So let's continue with the repeat from last time, the waifu of just about every Pokemon fan, Gardevoir. Guardy is a staple of most Hoenn teams regardless of the generation, and many people call upon it regardless of if they're in Hoenn or not. Ralts is going to be the earliest Pokemon on this team that you'll be getting aside from Trico. Just head over to Route 102 and you've got yourself one. Though there is a very low percentage of trying to find one, so good luck with that. Then you just get up to level 20 and then to 30 and you've got yourself Gardevoir. It's super strong, at 125 base special attack and 115 special defense. And with that psychic typing, you can really tear the house down. It is one of the strongest typings of all time, and back in the 3rd generation, it was still nearly the strongest behind dragon types. So the obvious Gardevoir is here, but what moves does it have on it? Calm Mind, Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Thunderbolt come together to make Gardevoir the strong Pokemon it is on this team. Calm Mind is going to be learned at level 21, and it's pretty awesome that it'll learn it so early on. Guardy ends up getting even stronger thanks to being able to set up, and it sort of makes things even easier for it when it's out in battle, as if they weren't easy enough. Next, we have Psychic, which is learned at level 26, and is the best move Gardevoir gets. Again, right there with Calm Mind, it's really awesome that Gardevoir can get it as early as it does, as it'll have a super strong move really early on, especially being a 90 base power. Next, we have Shadow Ball, learned via TM that you can find on Mount Pyre, and it serves as nice coverage for the ghost types that can be seen as a real threat. Finally, there is Thunderbolt, and you can either get that early on from the Mauville Game Corner for 4,000 coins, or do the new Mauville side mission later on in the game after you've obtained Surf. It's up to you depending on how early you want to grab it. So with these moves, Gardevoir is able to do well against Brawly's entire team, Winona's entire team except Tauros and Altaria, Tate and Liza's entire team, Juan's Luvdisc, Celio, and Crawdaunt, Wallace's entire team except for Whiscash, the rivals Swellow, Pelipper, and Wailmer, Maxie's Crobat, Archie's Crobat and Sharpedo, Sydney's Crawdaunt, Phoebe's entire team, Glacia's 2 Celio and Walrein, Wallace's championship Wailord, Tentacruel, Milotic, and Gyarados, and Steven's Skarmory and Claydol. That Thunderbolt comes in clutch during a lot of battles in this region, and for all the Pokemon that don't resist Psychic, they're gonna get rocked by one even if it's not super effective. Alright, this next one is me taking the advice of a comment in the last best team I did for Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. You guys are telling me that while Gyarados is cool and all, it wasn't truly the best option I could have gone to in Hoenn, and I decided you folks were right, and I made the change to bring a Tentacruel this time. Honestly, yeah, Its base 80 special attack is nicer with the water type moves, and that's really the big reason it got the chance this time around. It's worth it to change things around if we've got something that technically is going to hit harder. Even if under normal circumstances, Gyarados is a much better Pokemon than Tentacruel, though at the very least, it has 120 base special defense and 100 base speed, which are a couple of great stats to complement the hard-hitting water type moves. You'll be able to grab Tentacle as soon as you get the Old Rod, using Enduford to give yourself half of the team before you even battle Brawly. Well, the moves we have here are almost the same as what I put on Gyarados, being Surf, Waterfall, Ice Beam, and this time, Toxic over Return. Surf is grabbed from Raleigh's dad after you defeat Norman, and before that, you'll be able to use Bubble Beam. Then, we move on to Waterfall, which you'll get right after you earn your 8th badge, so you'll be riding Surf for quite a while beforehand. Then, there is Ice Beam, where you can either buy Ice Beam from the Mauville Game Corner for 4,000 coins, or you grab it within the abandoned ship. The last move we have, Toxic, is the poison representation I decided on for Tentacruel, since Sludge Bomb is just a physical move and isn't super needed anyway. You'll get the TM for Toxic and the Fiery Path, but you'll need Strength. If you want to use Sludge Bomb for extra stab though, I don't see it as bad. I just like having Tentacruel Toxic stalling just in case. You guys can play around with Tentacruel's moveset. I'm sure you guys can come up with something if you want to use Sludge Bomb. This moveset will enable Tentacruel to do well against Flannery's entire team, when known as Swablu, Tropius, Altaria, and Swellow, Tate and Liza's entire team, the rivals Combusken, Tropius, Swellow, and Shroomish, Maxie's entire team, Archie's entire team except Sharpedo, Sydney's Cacturne and Shiftry, Drake's entire team except for Kingdra, and Steven's Claydol, Aggron, Cradilly, and Armaldo. Tentacruel is incredibly important for the showdown with Flannery, and it's going to serve as a nice challenger to Drake and Steven. It really does fill in this slot well. Thanks for suggesting him, guys. We're going to open up this second half of the team with a significantly defensive beast, the Fire Turtle, Torkoal. I decided the team could have a different kind of fire type this go around, and Torkoal is actually not too bad. It has a solid base 85 attack stat on both ends, and a monstrous 140 defense that means essentially any physical move is basically gonna fail. It's part of what makes Flannery's battle so annoying. So honestly, the potential for Torkoal is to hit hard while being a complete annoyance for opposing Pokemon to deal with. You can capture Torkoal in the Fiery Path after defeating Watson, and it's going to have a lot of potential in that battle with Flannery that comes right afterward. Let's check the moves and see what it can really do. Heat Wave, Sludge Bomb, Body Slam, and Curse are the group of moves Torkoal is getting to use on this best team. And it's a pretty fine lineup for a Pokemon that once again has base 85 in both attacks. Heat Wave is learned at level 46, but before that, you can use Flamethrower to nearly the same success. Then, we have Sludge Bomb, which is a TM that's easily obtainable in Dewford after you defeat Norman for your 5th gym badge. Next, we have Body Slam, which is learned at level 20, and will probably be the kind of move you need to turn to when you face off with Norman, since the defense on this thing will allow you to take some hits. And finally, there is Curse, which is learned at level 7, so you'll need the Heart Scale it back on. I mean, is there anything more cursed than Torkoal in this video anyway? Torkoal is going to use these moves to do well against the rivals Tropius, Ludicolo, and Shroomish, Sydney's Cacturne and Shiftry, Glacia's entire team, Wallace's Championship Ludicolo, and Steven's Skarmory and Metagross. So, Torkoal's fire-type moves bring some needed coverage for steel types throughout the journey, which is important, especially against something like Steven's Skarmory. Its bulk and access to Curse almost make it in the same vein as the normal types I like to include on here. It's almost like we've got a physically defensive Fire Snorlax or something like that. Let's keep things going with our Flyer this time around. Another defensively minded Pokemon with a set of base 70 attacks, Altaria. Its defenses are very nice, with 90 on the physical end and 105 on the special end. It's going to take hits, and I guess it could always have worse attack stats, so expect to do at least some damage throughout your journey. You'll need to capture a Swablu on Route 114 and then train it to level 35. By then, you'll have the Altaria you've always wanted. Basically, a flying dragon type is great to have, as history has shown. Though, this isn't exactly the one you want in Hoenn, but it's the best one you've got. The moveset Altaria is using this time around is Fly, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Dragon Dance. Fly is obtained from your rival on Route 119 and will help us get around the region, as well as offer Altaria a nice and powerful stab move. Dragon Breath is learned at level 35, so upon evolution, you'll have a dragon attack finally. It's going to help out a lot with a certain Pokemon we go up against throughout this journey that have a specific typing, if you know what I mean. Then, we have Earthquake, which will be learned via TM obtained in the C4 Cavern during the late game. Finally, we've got Dragon Dance, and that's all for setting up. It's learned at level 40, and it will make Fly and Earthquake stronger while giving a nice speed boost. So with these moves, Altaria will be able to do well against Winnona's Tropius, Juan's Kingdra, the rivals Tropius, Ludicolo, Combusken, and Shroomish, Maxie's Camerupt, Sydney's Shiftry and Cacturn,
Hey, Drake's entire team.
Wallace's Championship Ludicolo, and Steven's Aggron and Metagross. Altaria brings the much-needed Dragon-type coverage to handle the Kingdra out there, and its help getting around the region is pretty accepted as well. Alright, before we wrap up this team, I want to address one quick thing. If you want to be able to defeat Norman and Watson with some ease, I'd suggest picking up Makuhita and Dewford. It's not on this team, despite the fact that it can help with those leaders. But since the final member of this team is caught in the Safari Zone, there will be an open spot up until then. You can handle almost all of Norman and Watson's Pokemon with fighting-type moves. So just know, that'll be there to help you out. As for the final member on this team, we've got Rhydon. You capture Rhydon in the Safari Zone, which is accessible right before reaching Lilycove City. Rhyhorn will evolve into Rhydon at level 42, but even before it does, it'll be decently strong. Rhydon has 130 attack and 120 defense, meaning it's taking hits, giving hits, you get the drill. The moveset for our final Pokemon today is Earthquake, Rock Blast, Iron Tail, and Takedown. Earthquake is learned at level 58, so by the time you're taking on the E4, I'd assume you'd probably have that on. But until then, you can use Dig, which is gotten on Route 114. Then, there's Rock Blast, which is a nice basic stab move that hits multiple times, which you can learn at level 29. So there's a good chance that when you capture a Rhyhorn, it'll probably already have it. The next move is Iron Tail, which is learned via TM that is found in Meteor Falls, which you need Waterfall and Surf for. And then finally, there's Takedown, which is learned at level 46. So with these moves, Rhydon will be able to do well against Winona's entire team except for Skarmory, Tate and Liza's Xatu, Juan's Celio, Wallace's Celio, the rivals Combuskin, Swellow, and Tropius, Archie's Crobat, Maxie's entire team except for Midiana, Drake's Altaria and Salamence, Wallace's Championship Gyarados and Tentacruel, and finally Steven's Armaldo, Aggron, Cradily, and Metagross. As you can see, that Steel Rock Ground trio of moves come in big during your journey and your challenge in the Elite Four. Rhydon is in fact a pretty useful Pokemon. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much going to wrap up our alternate starters for Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. These teams were actually kind of hard to do, seeing as Swampert is just so good and covers so much with its 2 typings. Not to mention the move pool getting over multiple Pokemon to fill in its spot is honestly a real challenge. However, I'm cool with this team, and I hope you guys are too. Stay tuned, because I'm not done just yet with alternate best starters, and I think you guys are going to want to see the next one we do. Thank you to everyone for watching the video. Huge thanks to my phenomenal team and the amazing art done each week by Danny the Demon. I couldn't do all this without them. If you all enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment too, as it really helps us out. I also do other content on my Twitch, where I stream Genshin Impact, Mystic Zora, where I do Pokemon Let's Plays and other gaming content, and of course MysticSage, where I do all anime content. Right now, I'm focusing on Inuyasha and Yashahime, so if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. If you'd like to support me even further than that, check out my Patreon. Whether it's a $1 tip to get early thumbnail access, or the $10 tier to get cool Perler bead charms and a shoutout. There's tons of reasons to join today. These lovely people did, and I thank them all so much for their support. It really means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrion, and I will see you all next time with some more amazing Pokemon content.